Within gaming circles, there's one name that seems synonymous with badass, and that's no other than Doom. Anytime this game is mentioned, it's typically followed by a favorite memory of playing Doom on an NES or maybe even a calculator. You see, with Doom, fans have options. Developer id Software's modern entry of Doom have only elevated its greatness within the space, showing that it can tackle insane blends of genres while still being, first and foremost, a carnage-heavy bloodbath of FPS greatness. While Doom 2016 started this chaos, Doom Eternal introduced platforming and scale to the series, which had never been done before. Now, Doom the Dark Ages hopes to evolve the series while still technically being a prequel. Honestly, it's not something game developers do to notable success often, but it's something we see large studios attempting time and time again. I'm looking at you, God of War Ascension, Mass Effect Andromeda, Halo 4, and many others. For a series that rests on the idea of over-the-top FPS evolution, going back isn't technically the safe thing to do. Further, the developer is adding a narrative layer that manages to pace the experience in its early moments before it blasts you out to a semi-open world and then throws you on a dragon or a mech, just so you know you're effing playing Doom. And after playing 3 hours of the game at an early preview event, I can say that going back is no longer a bad thing, and also that this team doesn't rely on blanket support from fans of the genre. You see, similar to the ego that's attached to the Doom name, this team is forcing themselves into ambitious systems that seem dodgy on paper, but ended up feeling pretty natural amidst the chaos. Doom the Dark Ages knows what it is, but it also seems to understand that the player may be a little hesitant about the experience after seeing a system change or weapon introduction that doesn't fit their idea of the series. To calm those nerves, the opening scene confidently displays Doom the Dark Ages logo for much longer than it needed to. It's as if telling the player, we know new can be scary, but let's f some shit up. And that's what eventually happens, following some overly dramatic story scenes that tell the story of the Doomslayer in a light that I hadn't really considered before. We found out why Doomguy hates demons so much, but also what he's gone through to fight back against methods of control. It's conveyed that the only thing that exists within the protagonist is hatred, and there's some sympathy that might emerge from that in these early scenes, only for the player to have their emotions shoved back into their tear ducts as they're thrown into the gameplay. The narrative bits didn't strike me as being overly intrusive during the action. In fact, I feel like it's almost necessary in a game that is attempting to establish its place in a timeline. id Software doesn't seem to try to be humble about its approach, opting to seemingly never play it safe. Oh, you like the compact vertical arenas in Doom Eternal? Well, now we have large areas where you can explore while completing objectives. Oh, and remember when the narrative was kept to logs found around the world in Doom? Well, get ready for cutscenes and supporting casts with plenty of depth. Yes, on paper, no developer would do this, but that's why it is so special. Doom the Dark Ages doesn't seem to care where the community wanted the series to go, and instead is guided by where the developers see its evolution fit. They take these subpar mechanics within the FPS genre, like third-person riding a dragon or participating in kaiju mech battles, and they even make it all fun. They made similar moves in Doom Eternal when the player base groaned about the platforming and rhythmic weapon swapping, but now I can't see Doom without that. Still, the developer also knows that this is a prequel, and fans are expecting classic Doom, and I believe we get a nice balance of new and old with this release. I know you've likely heard that before, but I applaud it when developers take risks, forcing themselves into a problem and then finding a solution that makes it work. Doom the Dark Ages puts you in the developer's seat of a demon-hunting powerhouse. Surprisingly, Doomguy seems even more fed up with the world in this game, but I'm not complaining about that. There's a nice range of early stages that push your memory of maneuvering this battlefield while also introducing new tech. During one of the more open levels, I stumbled across the Flail, a weapon that I would have hated if it was in any other game, but yes, this is Doom. The Flail quickly became my favorite. I like the way that the combat systems in this game force players into close and personal encounters with enemies, and this weapon encourages a mix of that. Finding a way to balance your parries, dodges, and strikes keeps you stocked with ammo and resources, but it also is crucial to staying alive. For me, the Flail was a little strange at first. I mean, it's basically a mace with more power, and after using it, I was able to find a way to incorporate its powerful hits into clearing out demon-infested fortresses in style. Is it strange? Sure, but it's oddly fitting once it gets going. Other weapons in the arsenal range from standard shotguns and plasma rifles, along with some new rail spike launchers that make their debut early on, allowing you to tweak your approach to the loadout. Weapon upgrades and alternative firing modes still encourage experimentation, balancing classic gunplay with these weird, oddly addictive new tools. Even small adjustments to these iconic weapons make a difference. The combat shotgun now boasts a tighter spread, seemingly minor until you combine it with new weapon mods, enabling devastating single-shot takedowns against groups of foes or even taking out those massive mancubis. Beyond shotguns, there's also unconventional alternatives like the rail spike, skull crusher hammer, and other creative weapons that I need to get good with. Yet, Doom: The Dark Ages doesn't seem to forget that it's fundamentally a Doom game. Moments of wandering through expansive areas and completing optional tasks are punctuated by frantic, contained arenas reminiscent of classic Doom setups. With metal tracks blaring and hordes spawning relentlessly, you're thrown into familiar areas within these creative environments that encourage multiple means of approaching the situation. There doesn't seem to be one set way of how to approach combat in this game, and that freedom will likely be the defining factor for many casual play sessions. Purists might intentionally question whether a medieval-themed prequel truly embodies Doom's identity, yet the more time I spent amidst this organized chaos, the clearer it became. Doom's core essence remains untouched in this release. The rush of combat, deafening gunfire, and panic exhilaration of survival are complemented perfectly by unexpected grandeur and compelling storytelling. It's a daring direction, but one that feels genuinely promising. Ultimately, maybe Doom: The Dark Ages might turn some heads by placing players in castle ruins armed with medieval weaponry and tasking them with outrunning demonic war machines. Yet, when the metal kicks in and carnage ensues, you'll realize this is still Doom through and through. There'll always be a way to get your Doom fix, but a medieval twist seems like a great idea to me. Doom: The Dark Ages is coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC on May 15th, 2025. Now, enjoy some gameplay.
Noisy pixel.